Good evening, folks, and welcome to another Warhammer Age of Sigmar battle report hosted by Semi-Casual Gaming with your host, Nathan. I am going to be doing a slightly different report style. This is going to be 1,000 points of Ogor Mawtribes versus Cities of Sigmar. The last ones I've been doing kind of a full report format showing all the phases and all that stuff. This time, because there's twice as many models, and I'm going to be trying to remember all the special rules for two armies, I'm going to be doing end of turn style format. So I'm just going to do each turn and then maybe some rolls towards the end of the turn. Maybe in the end of the game when there's less models on the table, I might actually just roll out a little bit, but just to kind of speed up these reports. So in doing so, since I'm not going to be having to remember things on camera directly, we are going to be playing with tribes and cities and such. So for the Ogor Mawtribes, we'll be doing the Bloodgullet tribe, and for the Cities of Sigmar, we're going to be doing ANVILGARD. And I know that ANVILGARD is traditionally themed more for having Dark Elves, but the humans can work with it too, as hopefully we'll see here. So I am going to do a quick rundown of the teams here. I'm not going to give all the minutiae. I will have the actual army lists posted in the comments below, so you can read that if you want to get all the details, but we'll go ahead and just do a quick zoom in, and then we're going to set up for first turn and do all the roll-offs and such. So Ogre side, this time we're going to be having the Tyrant be the leader, or the general, then the Butcher supporting for magic. Since it's Bloodgullet, he'll get to have an additional spell and cast twice, so hopefully he'll be pumping out even more magic this time. We're going to have 6 Gluttons, 4 Ironguts, 4 Leadbelchers, and 4 Saber Tusks. Since there's 4 Leadbelchers, they do become battle lines, so there's the 2 battle line minimum. And then Ironguts are going to have full command with the Runemaw banner. These Gluttons are going to have full command with the Tribal Skull banner. So this comes out to, I believe, exactly 2,000 points. Might be a little less, but either, or 1,000 points. Yeah, we're playing 1,000 point games. So next one, Cities of Sigmar. We're bringing in this general, who will be the general for the team. He'll be supported by a Celestial Hurricanum with Celestial Battle Mage. That's right, he brought in his mount. Now, you might notice the horses are missing. I haven't glued them to this base yet, so he's actually wobbling around on the base anyways. So, but either way, supporting the 2 characters, we've got 30 halberdiers, or 30 Freeguild guard with halberds, 20 greatswords, and the 10 handgunners, full command in all 3 units. So alright, so I think that's pretty much everything in particular. So I will go ahead and roll on camera for first turn, and then I will deploy and do a quick, I should also quickly explain the mission type as well. We're doing total conquest. There's, treasure chests here, here, there, and there, with the starting corners being this corner and that corner. And it's basically, you get 1 point for controlling the objective at the end of your turn. You get an additional point if you control the objective, if you steal the control of the objective from your opponent that turn, and an additional point if a leader controls an objective. So possible up to 3 per objective. And just to explain really quick, each team has 2 leaders. I'm just going to play that the leaders cannot give that leadership control benefit to more than 1 objective, or no, 2 leaders on 1 objective don't give it +1 per leader. It's just +1 period. So if both of them are on that objective, it'd be worth 2 points, not 3. Same goes for them. So alright, we'll just roll C first turn, get deployment, and then do the end of turn play. So red are Ogres, yellow Cities of Sigmar. Ogres get first turn. Alright, we'll go ahead and get them deployed, show a quick layout, and then get... Alright, quick shot of the board beforehand. Ogres over here with Frost Sabres, Ogres, Leadbelchers, Butcher, and the other flank being held by the Tyrants and Ironguts. Over here, massive blob of Free Guard going for that objective. Handguns in the middle with the supporting caster behind them. The general is actually hiding right there. Doesn't stand out too well, but great swords here. Quick battle plan. Ogre's battle plan, very straightforward. Charge. They're going to try and fight for this objective with more bodies, and then use their heavier hitter guys to take that one, and then fight their way towards the middle. Ogre, very straightforward. City Sigmar, our goal is to bog down that side with bodies and try to essentially clear this flank and push the way around before this side can fall. So we'll see how it goes. It is Ogre's turn. Alright, end of middle round 1 Ogres. Very powerful turn. The Bolt Butcher got off the Bloodfeast, which, using this marker, went on to these Gluttons. Movement phase, they marched forward 8 inches, and nobody else, actually only this unit ran, got a big run, so they're sitting over here holding on that objective. These guys just marched up the board. The Butcher's within 6 inches of that objective, so he's controlling it still. They just walked over here. I chose not to charge. I figured if they charge in, they're going to mince them up anyways. However, the Gluttons got just enough of charge to get in, and then just went completely stink on these guys. Wiped out, I think it was 15 of the 20 greatswords in 2 wounds from two mortal wounds from the charge, and then with the Bloodfeast giving a +1 attack, and they're just getting a whole bunch of attacks through. They just pummeled the tar out of them. However, the greatswords did respond back with 3 mortal wounds of their own, just by the Zweihander rules, but not enough to really impact the unit. The Leadbelchers got close enough. They shot 4 of the handgunners off, and by the charge and pile-in, this Glutton actually pulled those handgunners in, who did nothing but basically just tied them up. Otherwise, I think I forgot about the +1 to hit that the Huracanum gives, but even then they were on 5s, and I think they went to 4s or what have you. So either way, fairly rough first turn. The handgunners passed their leadership, however, and I paid my 1 command point that I've got for those guys to stay on the field. So we're going to do otherwise for points for the Ogre's turn. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we'll see if the Cities of Sigmar can respond. Bottom of 1. And bottom of 1. Okay, so the Cities of Sigmar casting was shut down by poor rolls in the Butcher. They moved up. The general went up to the middle to go after either the Ogres or the Gluttons or the Leadbelchers, depending. I shuffled all the halberds to actually go after the Leadbelchers. I chose to have the general charge into the Gluttons. I'll explain that in a second. The shooting, however, was successful. As you see, there's no more Butcher because the Storm of Shemtek ability can target anything within 18 inches and just do mortal wounds, and he did exactly 7 mortal wounds and killed off the Butcher outright. So powerful spell. We'll have to keep that in the back, or not even a spell, it's a shooting attack, but I'll have to keep that in the back of my head for next time. So the handgunner shot into the Gluttons, killed another one off, but they actually ended up falling out of range because when the greatswords attacked, they managed to kill another one. The general attacked and kind of whiffed. I mean, he only has 3 attacks, but I gave him this really amusing loadout. However, the 2 Gluttons that remained turned around and pummeled the general to his untimely death. They did exactly enough wounds to one-shot him. So, Leadbelchers punched a few halberds. The halberds killed 1 Glutton or Leadbelcher in return. However, they're kind of trapped now, and if they don't get a double turn here, this is probably going to be a very short battle report. So, leadership tests. Actually nobody else really lost anything. The Gluttons, however, lost 3, and with the leadership of being 8 in close combat, we'll see if it even matters. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so it doesn't even impact them. And then everyone else has enough morale buffs and such that what they lost did not equate to a roll. So, alright, we're going to go ahead and do the turn check. Red wins ties. We'll see if it's 4 and 2. Alright, I think this is going to be pretty much over now. So, oh, and say Sigmar only gained 2 command or objective points. So it's currently 5-2 and top of Ogre's 2. Alright, end of the Ogre turn 2. Kitty stayed put just to control that objective because nothing else was coming for them. Leadbelchers were stuck in combat. These guys came up, ran forward, slammed into things. The Tyrant moved around and actually got around the screen, which was poorly set up. I should have screened him and set him up better, but he only ended up doing 3 wounds. He did 1 wound on impact and 3 wounds with his punches. They actually did 2 wounds back to the Tyrant. However, the Tyrant's Splatter Cleaver managed to heal him back his 2 wounds lost. Ironguts, though, charging into them, they did 15. They killed 15 models by themselves, and then the Leadbelchers just mopped up. But for the Cities of Sigmar side, the Greatswords finally killed off the Gluttons. Far too little, too late, as they're down to 3 units, whereas the enemies, well, there's still maybe some hope left, but we'll see how it goes. They did not take the objectives, so they are still sitting at 3 objectives gained. I'm treating previously controlled as continue to control, as the rules state that they are staying in control until the other player takes them. So that's another 3 points, putting the Ogres up to 8 to the Cities of Sigmar 2. They're going to need a miracle. Bottom of 2. Okay, bottom of 2. Very quick. The handgunner shot actually killed 1 guy off, and due to unit coherency, they're going to actually have to lose another guy at the end of the turn, so that was kind of a dirt move. I put the bonus wound on them. Yeah. Oh well, not that I think it's going to matter. These 2 fought back and forth. He lightninged him for 4 damage. He Splatter Cleavered himself back 2 wounds, and then they poked him for another wound. So, I mean, this guy's got 2 wounds left, and it's the Ogre, or, well, it's a bottom 2, so we'll see what comes of it. But he's probably not going to last much longer, but we'll see how it goes. I had the Great Swords decide to take a long bomb heroic charge to try and reclaim an objective. Okay, sorry, my battery just died. So, anyways, they took a long bomb charge. They killed a couple Saber Tusks on the charge. They actually lost 1 back in return, but the Saber Tusks did lose 2, and 2 plus 5 is 7, which is 2 greater than their bravery. So the 2 Saber Tusks are going to take off running, thus giving the Cities of Sigmar control of that objective. At the end of the 2, it's 1-2 for the character there, and then 1-2 because they took control of it from the other player. So they got 4 points, putting them up to 6 points versus the Ogre's 8, which was actually a huge swing. I was not expecting them to catch up as quickly. Alright, now the important roll. I'm using the big red dice for them, so we're going to use the little red dice. This might change it. If it's double turn Cities of Sigmar, they might have a chance to pull this back up, so we'll see. It is. So, it's going to be top of 1 Cities of Sigmar. Alright, middle of turn 3. So, what happened here? Okay, Magic Comment of Cassandora did only 1 mortal wound to the Tyrant. You see he's no longer there because they opened fire with all their shooting and managed to kill off the Tyrant. They did just enough wounds to put him down. The Great Swords went over here and charged into the Leadbelchers. Managed to kill 1, however the 2 remaining returned fire and killed all 4 remaining dudes. However, the funny thing about it was because of that morale step, they're outside of combat, so they lose 2 of their bravery, so they're back to bravery 6. So if they happen to roll a 6 on their bravery check, they lose a guy. And guess what I rolled? So, they're down to 1 Leadbelcher left. However, so we've got 3 points now for Cities of Sigmar. They're actually ahead, 9-8, but it's the Ironguts' turn, or well, Ogre turn, but really it's the Ironguts' turn. So we're gonna see where the game ends. This is the bottom of 3, and it's probably the end of the game. Yep, bottom of 3, and you see what's happened. So, you know, the Cities really put up a valiant effort right towards the end there, but Ironguts are just beastly, especially when they roll a 12 to charge and do 3 mortal wounds to a thing with 2 wounds left. So they just blew up the Huracanum right away. The Leadbelcher rolled a 9 on his charge, did 1 mortal wound to them, and then, you know, Ironguts just mopped them up. So, bottom of 3, Cities of Sigmar has been officially tabled, and then with claiming it, they would technically have 1, 2, 3, 4 for taking it, so that would put them to, you know, 12 points. So it's 12 to 9. Really, there's no point in going forward. They've clearly wiped everyone else out. So I actually was expecting, especially after the first turn with the Gluttons kit in there, I thought the game would be done at bottom 2, but the lightning from that thing and their stand and shoot with nothing nearby, they were pecking things off left and right as fast as it could. If he had gotten a few more mortal wounds off on the Tyrant, he could have killed him sooner. Than this double turn, he could have actually used the Storm of Shemtek and taken out the Ironguts. You know, all those little dice minutia, the things you would never control. So, yeah, I'm not going to pile up all my guys and do the little post report. We're just going to keep this one short and sweet. I'm going to have to say great swords for the City of Sigmar definitely held their own. They, I mean, managed to wipe out essentially 2.5 units by themselves before they finally got pummeled into the dirt. I mean, the 2 damage from basic Glutton and basic Leadbelcher attacks, it's just so hard for these 1 wound armies to hold up against. And then the Ironguts do 3 damage per base attack. I mean, they might mopped up that entire halberd unit by themselves, basically. And that's just 4 guys, and you can bring up to 12 of them. They're insane, and I love them so much. Otherwise, the general, he was kitted out to do some funny, silly things, and then failed miserably and got pummeled for it. So, you know, again, just trying to think of these old characters from the old era that could do a ton of damage and kind of hold their own, and nowadays they just can't do that. So, but anyways, you know, so, I mean, they did what they could. For the Ogre's side, I'm definitely going to give it to the Gluttons. Those 6 guys getting across the table first turn and basically setting up the tone of the game of just wrecking through them. I mean, yeah, the Ironguts took out 2/3 or 3/4 actually of a unit of halberds, but at the same time, that's kind of expected from them. But for the Gluttons to come in and take out, I think they took out like 13 or 14. I think. Okay, finally got the battery charge up. Okay, really quick. Yeah, Ironguts are expected to do that amount of damage to basic troops. The Gluttons, though, I was not expecting them to do so much damage to the great swords, especially with their 4-up save. But, you know, with the Bloodfeast and all the bonus attacks from the parry clubs, I mean, they just pushed so much damage through. I was very impressed with them. It really, I think, crippled the City of Sigmar so far that even with their last-ditch effort to try and recover the game, it was pretty much over. So, you know, also, like, you know, I had the handgunners shoot at the Ironguts, and yeah, I took 2 for the price of 1, but I could have had them shoot at the Tyrant. You know, if I had killed the Tyrant sooner, could I have gotten more storms off on the other units to thin them out? Who knows? That's just not how fate and dice work. So, well, either way, it was actually a really close game at the end there. I was again just really expecting it to be just a one-sided wash, but once the Battle Mage's spells started going off, I was rather impressed with what they could do. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this super short battle report, which I think is probably maybe going to be 15 minutes as opposed to my 40-minute average so far. So please comment below if you like the short play or if you'd prefer to see more dice rolls. That's going to help me guide my decisions on future battle reports. However, for the next 2, which are going to be featuring, of course, the Legions and the Gash going up against both of these 2 teams, I'm going to use the same format, again, just as continual practice and getting all the minutia and rules down while I'm still learning to be a recording YouTube phenomenon. So, yeah, anyways, so thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff. Y'all have a good night.